I know that at least once you who watched this video right now said, I have or I had a depression. However, you haven't been diagnosed with one. And sadly, it is quite common for people to call everything a depression. Low mood for a certain period of time, I have a depression, even though it can be apathy or seasonal affective disorder. Or you are having an emotional burnout because you are simply tired. Depression is a complex mental illness that requires it to be diagnosed by a qualified psychologist and be treated by a professional with complex measures like psychotherapy, changes in lifestyle, and medication. I want to highlight that even though this information is taken from DSM-5, you cannot self-diagnose. Knowing this information can help you to become aware and at least to know when you have to start worrying, and better book a visit to a professional that can confirm your suspicions and prescribe you an adequate treatment plan or tell you not to worry. So, major depressive disorder. To consider that you might have a major depressive disorder, you have to have 5 or more of the following symptoms to be present during the same 2-week period and represent a change from previous functioning. Also, for a diagnosis, you should have at least one of the symptoms, either depressed mood or loss of interest or pleasure. To make it clear, among those 5, you have to have a depressed mood plus 4 or more other symptoms, or loss of interest or pleasure plus 4 or more other symptoms. So those 2 are compulsory. Without having one or the other, you do not have to even look at other symptoms. So what are those other symptoms? As we already said, criterion number 1 is depressed mood most of the day. Plus, it has to be present nearly every day. How people usually describe this feeling? They can say they feel sad, empty, hopeless, discouraged, or down in the dumps. Also, the person can be tearful. Even the smallest reason triggers tears. Also, the person's facial expression and behavior can indicate a depressed mood. Criterion number 2, markedly diminished interest or pleasure in all or almost all activities. Most of the day, nearly every day. In simple words, the person wants nothing. Whatever activities, people or objects made the person happy previously, during depression, person becomes totally indifferent to anything. You would imagine someone just staring all day at the ceiling, wanting nothing. This would fit here well also. Not caring anymore. That's a spot-on phrase explaining this criterion. Additionally, some people feel a significant reduction from previous levels of sexual desire. Criterion number 3, significant weight loss when not dieting or weight gain. For example, change of more than 5% of body weight in a month, or decrease or increase in appetite nearly every day. Again, if speaking in more simple language, the person is either indifferent to food, they're not dieting, they just don't think they have to eat, or they're not hungry, or they forget to eat. Or opposite, they can eat non-stop or in large amounts of food that can't be considered as healthy. And this behavior is all over the place every single day. Criterion number 4, insomnia or hypersomnia, nearly every day. So the person has difficulties falling asleep, staying asleep, waking up too early and being unable to return to sleep, waking up in the middle of the night, or on the contrary, sleeping extremely long hours, having difficulties waking up, and even after long hours of sleep, person feels very sleepy, tired, discoordinated, etc. Number 5, psychomotor agitation or retardation. nearly every day. Here is important to mention that this criterion has to be quite severe and be observed and reported by others. So a partner, a family member, or even a doctor have to give their observations that their loved one is restless, agitated, or on the contrary, retarded. Examples of psychomotor agitation are the inability to sit still, pacing or pulling or rubbing of the skin, clothing, or other objects. Examples of retardation are slowed speech, thinking, slow body movements, increased pauses before answering, speech that is decreased in volume, variety of content, or muteness. It is like a person struggles to do anything. Number 6. Fatigue or loss of energy nearly every day. They feel tired without physical exertion. Even the smallest tasks seem to require substantial effort. The efficiency is very low. Simple tasks like the morning routine are exhausting and can take twice as long as usual. Criterion number 7. Feelings of worthlessness or excessive or inappropriate, sometimes delusional guilt. A person can blame themselves for simply being sick, in more severe cases for being alive or creating discomfort for other people by their existence. They overthink and ruminate about past mistakes, even the smallest ones. Such people have an exaggerated sense of responsibility for adverse events. As an example, they might feel that they are responsible for the world's poverty, which is delusional, but in their reality it seems real and logical. Number 8. Diminished ability to think or concentrate on or indecisiveness nearly every day. They may appear easily distracted or complain of memory difficulties. In older people, memory problems may be the main complaint and may be mistaken for early signs of dementia, pseudodementia. If a major depressive episode is successfully treated, memory problems often disappear completely. Number 9. Recurrent thoughts of death. These can range from a passive desire not to wake up in the morning or the belief that others would be better off if the person died, to fleeting but recurrent thoughts of committing suicide and a specific suicide plan. Individuals with more serious suicidal tendencies may get their affairs in order, for example, updating wills, settling debts, acquire necessary materials, and choose a place and time to commit suicide. Motives for suicide may include a desire to give up in the face of overwhelming circumstances, a strong desire to end what is perceived as a permanent and distressing emotional state, an inability to anticipate the pleasure of life, or a desire not to be a burden to others. To count as a major depressive episode, the symptoms must either appear recently or have clearly worsened compared to the condition before the episode. Symptoms must persist for most of the day, almost every day, for at least 2 consecutive weeks. The episode must be accompanied by clinically significant distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. Also, functioning may seem normal in some individuals with milder episodes, but require noticeably more effort. I hope this information was helpful for you guys and easy for understanding. Please let me know in the comment section if you have any additional questions. Follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'm going to see you in the next videos.